Cemeteries are places for respecting the past amid the healing cycles of nature, but those cycles can also provide important information about the future as indicators of climate change. To tell us about one effort to watch those signs of change with help from the community are two guests from Mount Auburn Cemetery in Cambridge. We'd like to welcome the Visitor Services Specialist, Jim Gorman, and a citizen scientist, Sherley Smith. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim, it's not often that we have people talking on our show about Mount Auburn Cemetery, but I've been there once and was really impressed. Tell our viewers, what is special about this place?
Well, created in 1831 after a consideration of what to do about the overcrowded burial grounds, King's Chapel, Copp's Hill, and so one idea was to create something that was non-sectarian, large enough, and landscape it from the very beginning. So it was actually created under the umbrella of the Horticultural Society, and to this day, it's a horticultural showplace.
Meaning what? What will people be looking at and be impressed by?
So it's an arboretum, and it's 175 acres, and there are 55 full-time employees, 35 seasonal employees. One of the positions is curator of plants, and so that we know that there are 4,800 trees, 4,900 shrubs, and 3,000 perennials, all labeled.
Surely sounds like a great place for birds, and you're a bird watcher, so talk about how that got you to what you're doing now.
Well, I was there on a somewhat regular basis, and then because I loved Mount Auburn, I became a friend, which means, of course, you make a donation, which puts you on their mailing list. So once I'm on the mailing list, I find out about all the wonderful things that are happening there, and I learned about this phenology program that was started 4 years ago.
Not many of our viewers are bird watchers, but talk about what it's like for you. I mean, I'm thinking of people who get up really early in the morning and they go someplace.
Well, that's one of the good things about Mount Auburn. They have it, you can go early in the morning, but they also have an 8 o'clock time, which some people, and they have evening, Friday afternoon at 5:30. So you can watch birds at different times of the day.
And you have to be really watchful and observant, right?
You do. Yes, you do. But it's such a beautiful place that even if you don't see birds, you're just happy to be there with the trees and the plants and the serenity of it all.
Bird watchers are also naturalists, even if they don't always call themselves that. But you're looking for people who can help you with some scientific research. So explain, what's going on here?
So phenology is really the study of sequencing of natural things. And so when do the birds come through? Second week of April, certain birds. When do the lilacs come in flower? And so phenology has really been practiced for thousands of years by farmers and gardeners and notable scientists, and with the resurgence of citizen involvement, the citizen science program takes 10 different trees and we train volunteers of what to look for. 10 different kinds of trees. Yeah. 10 different kinds of trees.
I mean, occasionally these things in the newspaper show you that such and such a bird was seen in such and such a place on such and such a date. Is that what you're doing a lot of times?
This is the beauty of trees. The trees don't move around. They're always there and they're labeled. So I've sort of become a tree lover now, and I haven't given up on birds, but from learning from Jim and others how really exciting it is to watch trees come to life after the winter is over.
And you're also thinking, gee, that's earlier at this time than it was last year. Is that happening now?
Yes, it is. We date our data back to Thoreau. So we have his diaries that we look at for when things flowered. What was that date?
1850s.
And now compare it to today, and I think we're 4 weeks.
Well, it's variable. So it could be anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks, depending upon the species of plant. Flowering earlier, 170 years later.
And how many people know that trees flower?
Well, some people who live near the Arboretum, you had associations with the Arboretum in your past.
The Arboretum. So the Arboretum also has citizen science programs. So Mount Auburn's not the only place. There are botanical gardens all across Europe that are working together, collecting data. In Japan, their Meteorological Society has botanical plantings outside of their weather stations. And so the interest is international in documenting
This is BNN News, and we're talking with Jim Gorman and Sherley Smith from Mount Auburn Cemetery. Shirley, you can get out there, you can be observant, you can log your data and not run into a human soul. But on the other hand, is there any connection with other people that you're working with in this? Yeah.
Part of the joy of doing this is that we're a community of learners. So we all started with Jim, who's so enthusiastic and spread his enthusiasm to us. And I think there are 60 of us now.
Yeah.
There's a large group. So you always find a friend to do it with. In fact, we encourage people to do it in pairs so that you're sure what you're seeing is the correct information. So yes, it's very much a community of people who are engaged with nature and are happy to be there doing this.
Jim, what do you see as a benefit? I mean, you're getting some data, but beyond that, what does this lead to, you think?
Well, it is, number one, just collecting the data. And among other things, with now technological advances of satellite imagery, the citizen science data collection can help confirm some of the more scientific data.
And finally, if people want to find out some more information about this and get involved in some way, is there any way they can follow up?
Absolutely. Go to our webpage, mountauburn.org, and we can follow up once you contact us.
Thank you very much, Jim Gorman and Sherley Smith from Mount Auburn Cemetery. We'll have more news in just a moment.